Saving green.
Good morning, ninjas. Good morning, and look what I have here for you. Steve was generous enough to come by. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Say hi to the ninjas, man.
Hey, ninjas.
There you go. And he wanted to bring by 2 of his Walker mowers here. He's going to go ahead and walk us through each one, give us a little detailed insight of what they are all about. We ended up just using them for the front yard and the backyard. So far, Steve, I love them. They are very different, I must say, but I'll let you walk us through and show us what's so different about Walker.
Okay, sounds good.
What do you want to do first, the B27i?
Yeah, we can just kind of look at them together,
okay.
I guess.
All right, let's do it.
We have 2 different mowers here. These are what Walker calls non-collection machines.
Okay.
We have a B27i and we have an H27i.
Okay.
Both of these machines are fuel injected Kohler Command Pros.
Okay, okay.
This guy's 8 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour.
That's like a decent walk behind. That's really good.
It is. They're pretty quick. This guy is a light machine. This machine only weighs a little over 800 pounds.
What?
So it's very light on the turf.
Okay, which I could tell by using it, but I didn't know that's pretty light for a sit down, I guess is where I'm going with this. Okay.
And then the H is more of an industrial high productivity mower. It's got a beefier deck. It's
you can tell the deck
machine.
is
a
lot beefier.
A floating suspension seat versus just a comfort seat. A little bit beefier setup, but these are basically little brother, big brother kind of setups.
Okay. All right.
We have a 48-inch mulching deck on the B27.
Okay.
And we have a 52-inch rear discharge on the H27.
Now, does Walker have side discharge?
They do.
They do?
They do.
Okay.
There are side discharge. There are both gear driven and belt driven side discharge, as well as mulching decks. This machine, for example, you could run about 12 or 13 different decks on this machine.
So this disconnects?
Correct. And it only takes about a minute to take that off. It's very, very simple to do.
Okay, so it's like different attachments.
Yes, and there's a whole line of implements that you can get too with this. You can put an implement hitch on this machine. You can run a blower. You can put on a bucket if you need to move like stone or mulch or something like that. Without the implement hitch, you can run things. There's a dethatcher that goes on this. There's a spiker spreader that goes on this. We have a 25-gallon sprayer. It's a boom sprayer / hand wand setup that goes on this.
Where's the end?
There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that goes on for sure.
That's awesome. That is really cool that they've designed it where you can use the same machine for multiple tools.
Correct.
So that's very cool.
And a lot of guys, they'll get one machine, but they might get 2 decks.
Different kinds.
Yeah, sure. They may get a mulching deck to do their higher and nicer stuff, and then they may get a bigger side discharge belt driven deck to do some of their utility areas, their big fields and things like that.
You ever thought about going to the dealership, buying a mower and saying, hey, I'd like one mower with 2 different decks? Now we can.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Steve. That is cool, man.
Yeah. And the guys that run the bagging machines, they have the option to be able to change decks as well.
Now, Steve, when I hear a Walker, and anytime I've seen a Walker, I'm always picturing the big bagging system in the back. So this is, you're saying, the non-collectible. Is this something new for Walker?
No, it's not new. They've actually been around for a while.
Okay.
But Walker, they started, with the bagging machines. And I think a lot of people kind of associate Walker with baggers.
I know I did.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the non-collections, they started with the Super Bees years ago. And have just kept improving and perfecting the machines.
Is the B27i fairly upgraded or newer machine?
It is. This is a brand new machine, actually. This just came out this year. This replaced the B23i, and they're gonna come back with the B23, but they're gonna come back with a carbureted version of it.
Okay.
So this is a much improved, newer version of the B23i, the B27.
And you said it is EFI. What kind of engine's got on here?
It's got a Kohler.
Okay.
26.5 horse with the Delphi fuel injection system.
Okay, pretty easy to get to?
It is, it is. You just lift up the back cover. There's a little release latch over here on my side.
Okay.
And this is called a clamshell setup, and it opens up so that you can access the machine to do your service and to blow it out, clean it, periodically pressure wash it.
It's all right there. It's very...
And grease it, and, you know, check your air filter, you know, your oil, all that stuff. Everything's right here, very easy, very simple. You have room to work in this.
Very, very convenient.
Oh,
and you said it's the Kohler 27?
It's the 27.
Okay.
Yeah, 27 Command Pro.
Command Pro, yep. And very, very... How... first thing I always ask is how easy is to change the oil, because it's probably one of the most common, obviously, things that you're going to have to do.
Really simple. If you want to come around over here, there's your oil.
Okay.
Oil filter. Down right below it is your is the nut to crack it open, so it's all right there. Yep.
Huh. Very, very easy.
Yeah, these are engineered to be pretty simple to, you know, to check your oil, change your oil. This is your battery box.
That's the battery.
Battery's right here, easy to access.
Okay. Wow.
Your air filter's right here on top. And then with your little indicator down in here, so this is real simple to take that out and clean that outer filter.
Gotcha.
There's your oil to check the oil right here, and then there's your fill if you ever need to add a little bit of oil to it.
Sure.
Most of your grease zerks are right here and very accessible.
Okay.
Wherever anything moves, generally there's going to be a grease zerk there.
Okay. Now, talk to us, Steve, as far as anybody who's watching like myself, who's never either sat on one, never really test driven one, demoed one. How difficult, how different, how easy is it to get used to this whole setup as far as, you know, sitting down? Obviously, I see the controls are right here between the legs. I see some kind of a throttle over there and two throttles right here. Break it down for us. What is all this?
Real simple. This is your parking brake.
Okay.
And then we come up here. These are your steering levers, which coincide with your forward speed control.
Okay.
This is your electric clutch.
Okay.
And then over here you have your throttle.
So that's the throttle.
Correct.
And that's the speed control.
That's your forward
Unlike
speed.
with a stand-on, for example, you know, the throttle is it, and then you just go.
Yeah.
That's okay. So you've got two systems there.
Well, yeah, you have your throttle to spin up, you know, to spin up the engine and the blades, because you want to run that wide open all the time.
Of course.
And then you have your forward speed control, so you can control the amount of speed at the rate of speed that you move this machine at. So you can, this is kind of like cruise control. You can set it anywhere you want and leave it. And
so hold on, but you can go, so push that back. So if I hold on to this, you can still push that forward.
Correct.
Right? This is more like a neutral now.
Yes.
And then, I see. And then it's wanting to fight me to, you know, want to come down. I got you.
And as you let the control of this is one-handed, so you use your left hand and your fingertips.
Yeah, so ninjas, I've learned very quickly from Steve, you use the fingertips.
That's right.
What's the word you used? I was holding on to it like...
I told you were holding on to it like you were riding a bucking bronco. Like just fingertips on this. But what you do is you hold this and you pull that forward, and you're in neutral right now, basically. Okay. But you're ready to go forward. And then as soon as you let these go forward, the machine will go forward. Reverse, turn.
Gotcha.
And that's all there is to it. And it's really simple. Guys that run the standers and the mid mounts, it takes a minute to get used to this. Okay. Because it's a completely different system.
Well, for sure.
And your knees move up and down too when the deck floats.
So ninjas, that's what actually confused me when I started mowing with this. I looked at Steve for a second. I said, why did my seat just go backwards? And he goes, no, it didn't. I'm like, dude, my seat moved. And then he pointed out. So when you put your feet right here, by the way, if you're a shorter person, you can put them right here, or just a normal sized person. But if you're someone like me, tall, you know, 6 foot plus, you can put your feet right here. So when I put my feet right here and I started to move, the deck is an actual floating deck, right, Steve?
That's correct.
So it actually will move with the way the ground is. Yeah. And when it started to move, your legs are doing this, and I felt like something's going on. I felt like this thing was gonna like.
Yeah, you had me going for a second because you were like, the seat moved. I was like, I don't know, the seat doesn't move. But what happened was when you went down over that hill, the deck dropped down a little bit. And I think you may have slid down. And
maybe.
Felt like your
Who
seat
knows?
moved. Yeah.
But I was just freaking out there for a second. And Busy B got a good laugh there.
I like to remind guys that are running the mid mounts and the standers, that your knees move on this machine too, which is something very different if you've never run one.
Very, very. Now, one of the biggest things I've always heard is Walker is known for easy access to decks. How easy is this to lift?
Well, it's real easy actually.
Okay.
There are 2 deck pins, and you lift and pull those out
on each side.
on each side.
Okay.
And then you come in and you have a handle in the front of the deck.
Okay.
And you just lift the deck up, and then there's a hook right here, and you hook it, and that's all there is to it.
Look at that. Look how easy. Now you can sharpen your blades, spray, you know, or wash off, scrape off. You know, we obviously just used it, so it's got, this is a mulching deck, so it's got some grass on there. But now, Steve, this was really big when you mentioned it to me earlier, and I really want you to explain this. What is going on here? I've never seen anything like it. What are these?
Those are called recirculating hubs. They're fan hubs.
Fan hubs.
Right, and what's going on is when you cut the grass, the gator blade is cutting, it's lifting it up, it's cutting it.
Okay.
And then it's chewing it up inside the deck.
Okay.
And then that recirculating fan actually blows down, so that when you cut and pulverize the grass, the recirculating hub blows it down into the turf, so that you don't get any clumping.
Now, does this deck go up the same as that one or no?
It does. It's just a little bit bigger to do, and this one has a bar. And there's also a feature you can get for these, that they have an electric actuator, and you can just hit a button.
Really?
Yeah, and they'll come up too. With this machine, what you do is you take the bar out, like so, and then you come back here, and you still have your deck pins, but the system's a little bit different. You put the bar right here, and then you take that over, and it'll release the pressure, and you flip it over.
Okay.
You do it to the other side.
All right. This is so unique. I've never seen anything like this.
And flip it, and there's, you can see the bottom of the back of the deck just drop down.
Disconnected, yeah.
And then you come in and put your bar.
You've got to be kidding me.
Take your latch and get it ready to line up. Then you pick this up like this.
You've got to be kidding me.
And there you go.
I've never seen anything like this.
And then this is a 3-bladed setup with spindles, greasable spindles, and still you can clean it really easy.
The rear discharge. Yeah. I just love you can fold up the decks, clean them, sharpen the blades, but you said you can even park them on the trailer like this.
Yeah, you can transport them and store them like this.
Unbelievable. Talk about room saving.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How big is the fuel tank?
4.7 gallons, and it has a gauge on it.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. And it has the nice comfort seat.
Yes.
You can remove either one of those upper or lower cushions. And that's bolstered too.
Bolstered, okay.
So it kind of holds you in when you're on hilly conditions.
Sure. And I noticed this one has 2 fuel tanks.
It does.
One on each side.
Correct.
And so are they 4.5 each as well? Okay.
4.7 each.
4.7, okay.
And then there's a little switch back here that you can switch from
Between
left to
the
right
2.
tank. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then this one has the Grammer suspension seat on it, which this is a that's a nice movable air suspension seat. What you do is you get in here, and then you look where the arrow is, and you can take this and pump it up. So you pump it to your weight. And then
pump it.
That's it. You pump air into it until until the arrow's right in the center of it, and that way you're riding and you're constantly floating when you're on the machine.
Very nice. Very
and then
nice.
You can adjust your back, lumbar, and
then
arms.
the arms.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is all adjustable, so you can get yourself set in, and also the footrests. You can adjust those so you're completely comfortable.
Bigger tires, I'm noticing on this one compared to that one.
Yeah, this comes standard with the 22s.
Okay.
This has the B27 has a big wheel kit on it. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
That's a new kit that Walker just came out with. They have extended forks on the front of the deck and on the back of the machine. And then they put a 20-inch tire instead of an 18-inch tire. And the deck height went from 4 to 5.
From 4 to 5.
Correct.
So 4 used to be the max.
4
now
used to
it's
be
5.
the max.
Okay.
And if you want to be able to cut higher, you can get the big wheel kit.
Okay.
And cut it 5. Otherwise, you can get this with the regular tires and cut it 4.
I got you. Is that the same engine as this one?
Same.
Same ordeal.
Yeah.
Okay. So would you say this is more of a commercial versus industrial?
Yeah,
okay.
I'd say that's a fair assessment.
Okay.
This is a commercial machine for sure. I mean, you can run up to a 74-inch side discharge deck on this machine. And it'll run at 8 miles an hour, and it'll run all day long.
Steve, I got to ask you.
Yeah.
Does Walker have competition? I don't see anything out here that's anything like Walker. I mean,
yeah.
I remember Scab That's what I call them. Scab tried with was it a cougar that I think was, or
yeah, skag.
Back in the 90s?
Cheetah?
Cheetah maybe?
Cougar? It was a cat. I do
The
remember.
name Scabs come up with, you know, that's just whatever. But
Skag, cougar. I think it was a cougar. Yeah.
Scab.
Yeah, scab. The bagging unit.
The bagging unit back in the 90s, right? Was it? What happened to that?
They stopped production.
Okay.
And I don't know why.
So you see where I'm going with this.
I do.
Do you have any competition out here? Is there anything similar, I guess what I'm trying to ask, out here?
There's really nothing that's like a Walker.
Steve, what's the biggest engine that these come with? Is this the biggest, or do you have options?
Yeah, this machine, if you go to, you can go to an H38i.
Okay.
And it has a Vanguard, Briggs & Stratton Vanguard, fuel injected in it.
What is that, 35, 37?
37.
37, okay.
Yeah, you can get this in a 37. And there's also a diesel.
Okay, so there is a diesel.
There's a diesel model available.
Wow.
Yep.
Very interesting. I want to get some footage of us using these things, so I will definitely record a little bit and get to show you guys how these you know, run and how they leave the yards behind. But I wanted to go ahead and knock out, of course, first a little walk around and really get to know these units a little better. So far, I really like it. It did a really good job on my front and backyard. Steve, thank you very much for coming.
Oh, you're welcome.
And bringing these units to me and wanting to spend a couple of hours with us and you know, really go over and show us what Walker is all about. Like I said, I've seen them. I didn't know anything about them.
But we're going to learn all about them today.
You ready, Busy?
Rage on that beat, going crazy.
Saving green.